Hey YouTubers! Bay Area Maker Faire is coming up very soon, and I know that some of you are going to be there filming. We've seen you sometimes trying to be sneaky filming stuff and sometimes not so sneaky. And the great news is you don't have to be sneaky. We love seeing you there filming. Sometimes we even pass the videos around our office afterwards and enjoy them ourselves. For example, this one here by Rainbow Girl. Since we want you to be there filming and sharing Maker Faire with the world, I figured, hey, we could help out a little bit. So here are some tips and tricks and some etiquette to keep in mind while you're at Maker Faire filming your YouTube video. Before anything else, before you show up with your camera at the Maker Faire, you should register for press credentials. There's a link down in the description below. Registering is totally free and it gives you a press pass so that people will know you're legit, you know, and they'll be more willing to talk to you. And also it helps our people know you're legit as well. And after the fair, shoot us a link to your video and we might feature your video on our Maker Faire webpage. First, there's etiquette, okay? Remember, you're dealing with other people here. You're in a crowd, you're at an event. So let's talk about the etiquette of the event. If you're going to interview people, ask permission first. Usually what I do is I turn the camera away and I say, hey, I'm shooting a video. Do you mind being interviewed on video? Is that okay? And people will real quick say yes or no. Respect their response. If they say no, don't film them. Don't just walk up and shove a camera in someone's face. It just takes a second to ask, and most of the time, they're happy to do it. You're welcome to walk around and film crowds and groups. I believe there's a disclaimer whenever they buy the ticket that the event will be filmed, so that's perfectly fine. But walking up to an individual, show a little bit of respect and ask for permission. A quick tip to get people to promote their stuff without rambling is to give them a limit. Say, hey, tell me what it is that you make in 2 sentences. Or you've got 10 seconds, tell me about the thing that you make. That helps, and usually they appreciate it. Some people get real nervous and they ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble in front of the camera. Either that, or some people really like promoting their stuff and they'll go on forever. If you just say, hey, you have 10 seconds, tell me about your thing, they'll usually do pretty good. Look around for traffic backups. This is a big one. Sometimes you walk into a room and you're like, whoa, this is awesome, and you want to pull out your camera and start talking right then, but you're still in the doorway and you're backing things up. Keep in mind that over the weekend at this Maker Faire, there are going to be like 200,000 people. And so standing in a doorway or in a tight area can cause some serious backups. Look around you. Make sure people have space to get around you. Maybe move to a different location before you start filming. Just be aware of backups. Moving on to filming tips. We have one scenario that usually causes a lot of problems in videos, and that is our dark room, okay? We have a whole building that's dark and it's full of LEDs and flashy things and music. It's amazing in there and people want to film in there. But they end up with really dark or kind of cruddy films where you can't see anything, usually for a couple reasons. There are settings on your camera that you can change to get better results in a dark room, but the fact is you're not going to be doing that whenever you're standing at the fair. One thing to keep in mind is you have light sources in the room. If the light source is in front of the camera, so like if I had a bright light here, you wouldn't be able to see very well. Now we have one set of doors that stays open. Always keep those doors behind the camera, okay? That will help your videos in that room turn out much better. You'll see what I mean when you're there. If you see those open doors to the outside through your camera, you're not gonna see anything else. Get those doors behind the camera. Also keep your camera still. When it's dark in there, your video is immediately gonna be a little bit more grainy, and if you're moving it around, you're not gonna be able to see much. Now the second tip is get a microphone. It doesn't matter if you're using a fancy camera or your cell phone. Maker Faire is noisy. There's lots of ambient noise. I use a cheap lavalier mic you can see here. It was like $20. Either that or you could use one of these microphones that hooks on your camera. A microphone will make a massive difference, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Now let's talk about the location a little bit. If you need a quiet area, here's a tip. In between the buildings. there's usually not many people and it's nice and quiet in there. And that's because there's not booths there or people showing off things that they've made there. But if you need to sneak away to talk to the camera for a bit, that's the place to do it. In the blog post linked below, I've got a map with the areas highlighted that are the quietest. Now, on location, do not bring a drone. I know a lot of people have these quadcopters and they want to fly them and get beautiful aerial footage. Do not bring one to Maker Faire. I can't express this strongly enough. Having these flying above crowds of people is a big liability, and especially if people, who we don't know are bringing multiple ones and flying them above the crowd, it's a huge liability. We cannot have people bringing quadcopters. If you need aerial footage, contact us. I'll try to get you in touch with the right people to see if that's even possible, but the chances are you're not going to be able to get drone footage of the Maker Faire on your own. And lastly, if you see me or the other editors walking by, feel free to stop us or wave and yell. We're all happy to be in your videos. We're all happy to stop and say hi, but keep in mind, this is our most hectic weekend of the year, and we may only be able to stop and say hi and wave and then keep going because we have a million things going on. So that's it. Thanks, YouTube. We'll see you at Maker Faire.